Because what I wanted to handle today is to show you, and it doesn't matter whether you have a home office, whether you have an office, what have you, that doesn't matter. What does matter is how you structure your day. What I have noticed is a lot of people don't have 100% clarity for what you should be doing each hour of the day. And so that's one thing I want to share with you guys. Folks, this is without a doubt the best schedule that you can possibly follow. And I'll tell you why, for a number of reasons. This schedule here, and it doesn't matter whether it's on Google Calendar, it doesn't matter whether it's on Microsoft, whatever. I used to use Microsoft back in the day, right? But the most important thing for you to understand is that if you don't have a definitive structure to your day, what'll happen is you'll be in the middle of something, you'll get a phone call, and pew! In fact, guys, raise your hand if you've ever had that. You're like in the middle of doing something that you're like not 100% sure if it's like the best use of your time, and you get a phone call and you're like reacting to this, reacting to that, reacting to this, and you never get back to that thing that you were doing, okay? It's very, very common. So what I want to impress upon you is this is the schedule that absolutely helped me improve the way I went about my business. Why? Everything is in there, and I'm going to walk you through it, okay? I recommend getting started calling at 8 a.m. Why? I've known, not only have I coached my own over 300 folks, okay? But what I want you guys to realize is coaching program after coaching program after coaching program, everyone recommends starting at 8, okay? But here's the thing. A lot of you are probably saying, well, that's what all the competition is doing. Here's the thing, folks. No, they're not. The early bird gets the worm. Everybody knows, or I should say 90% of agents know to do this stuff, but most agents will not do it. That's the thing, folks. That's what's very, very interesting. Part of what I teach is proper structure, proper scripts, how to take listings and so on and so forth. And it's not about the knowledge. It's about the implementation. The information is a small portion of it. I could teach you this stuff in 30 days. But to get you to implement and to get you to build it into habits is a completely other animal, okay? But what I want to share with you, and I've never shared this with our Tuesday lives before, okay, is that the perfect day goes like this, all right? And I equate it very much to our scripts, okay? Our scripts are designed from top to bottom to keep you kind of like in the pocket and keep you out of dark corridors. What does that mean? Has anyone here ever gotten on a cold call and someone asks you a question and you wind up in left field talking about some stuff you never thought you were going to talk about? Type a me in the chat if that's ever happened to you, right? If you found yourself way, way, way in the weeds and you're like, how do I get back to what I was talking about? Type a me in the chat if that's you guys, right? I know I have. And I'll be like, oh my God, how do I, he just started talking about like, how his uncle was in Vietnam in 1972, and what the heck does that have to do with his warehouse on 2nd Avenue, right? So when you have a script, folks, what it allows you to do is keep it between the lines, okay? To a certain degree. You're always gonna have someone that kind of pulls you off into dark territory, kind of like into deeper waters, but at the same time, it's gonna keep you more or less, because the questions that you ask have very specific outcomes, have very specific ways of answering them, so that you know if they say this, you say that. They say this, you say that, okay? Similarly, okay, your daily calendar is reflective of that in the same sense. What does that mean? Okay, well, if you just stick to the calendar, you can't go wrong. Here's what I mean. If you get to the office at 7:45, turn on the coffee pot, turn on your computer, what have you, maybe do a little bit of journaling, okay? You're gonna have plenty of time to do all your dials, okay? Has anyone ever read the book by Gary Keller called The One Thing? Okay? Fantastic book. If you are new to real estate, get it. If you haven't read it, get it. If you're old to real estate, get it. Reason being, guys, it reinforces the very, very important point of, okay, there is only one thing that's the most important thing. And that is reaching out to people that you can help. picking up the phone and making your dials. So when you do that, when you pick up the phone and you dial people, okay, you're creating opportunities. The reason why there's a 97% failure rate in commercial is because most people aren't reaching out to enough people. They're not making enough contacts. This is a contact sport, folks. The more hands you shake, the more money you make, period, end of story. I don't care who tells you that. Okay, you can get a person who's lazy, right, and give them a good plan and have them follow the plan. They'll win. The guy that's smarter but if you get someone that's smart and is willing to follow a good plan and is making their dials, they'll be absolutely unstoppable. Okay, but my point is, folks, if you get to the office, you get settled in, you start making your dials by 8:15, something along those lines. Guess what, folks? 2 hours is plenty of time to make 50 dials. Okay, so there also, folks, how many of you have noticed that it's what I call the calm before the storm? What is that? Well, how many of you have noticed that those pesky clients of yours that call, what about this? And what about that? And oh my God, my hair's on fire. Oh, the deal's falling apart. The attorney said that. The lender said that, right? Those calls don't typically start coming in until right around 10:30, okay? So there's a natural quietness in the morning that allows you the luxury of, guess what? Making your dials. You're gonna be uninterrupted. No one's gonna bother you, okay? What are you doing? My dog's making some noise. Okay, so the point is, guys, 8 to 10 a.m. is when you're supposed to be doing that, okay? By 10 a.m., okay, cool, take a break, right? You've had your, by the way, when you're cold calling, make sure you're standing up, make sure you have a headset on. The reason we do this is when you're standing up, okay, you open your diaphragm, you can speak more powerfully, okay? When you're standing up, your circulation is better, you're getting more blood and oxygen to your brain, you'll be quicker on your feet, you'll be able to combat that rebuttal a lot easier, okay? So there's a very, very important reason for it. Why do we have a headset on? Because I want you to, instead of, number one, it's terrible. If you do enough cold calling, you will wreck you'll wind up with some sort of weird scoliosis or your neck will hurt or whatever, okay? When you have a headset on, it allows you to talk with your hands, gesticulate, make a point. Because guess what, guys? When you use your hands to talk, okay, even if the other person on the other side can't hear you, you'll have more emphasis on the points. I don't know why. I know I've read it in many, many different places. It's been proven, right? The jury's out, right? So the point is, guys, wear a headset and stand up, okay? Have you ever seen a singer like laying down or sitting down? Oftentimes, no, right? For the majority of the time, someone's singing, and it's very, very simple. It's the physics of the body, right? It's how your body works. The more open your chest is, the more air you can get into your lungs, the more power you can have behind your voice. And guess what? I'll take a powerful voice over a meager voice. Someone that's kind of slouching down in their chair and they don't have a lot of energy because they're sitting here and I'm just trying to keep my head up. And so, no, that doesn't work, guys. Okay, you with me? All right, so 8 to 10, standing up with a headset on, 50 dials. Boom. Next, following up with the calls from the night before. Okay, guess what, folks? Between 5:30, by the time you leave the office, and 10 a.m., the time you finish your dials, there's going to be calls that come in. There's going to be emails that come in. There's going to be all kinds of stuff. You are not to do it during your dial time. The reason for that is, folks, nothing is more important than this time here, okay? Just as you would never starve a child. You'd never starve your grandchild. You'd never starve your puppy, your dog, your kitty, your favorite whatever, okay? You would never neglect an animal or a family member, okay? Guess what? You can never neglect your business. You know why? You know how people go out of business? Not enough customers. And if you don't have enough customers, guess what? What's going to wind up happening is you're going to go bye-bye and you get to go back to that 9 to 5 and have the boss man tap you on the shoulder and then giving you, a 401k. Nobody wants that. You guys are all in a 100% commission business because you don't want the 9 to 5. Okay? So the point is, guys, you need to follow the structure and follow up with your calls from the night before. All those things that are happening during the 8 to 10 time, that deal that's falling apart, it'll still be falling apart at 10:01. That email that's so important, okay, it'll still be there at 10:02, okay? What I want you guys to understand is nothing is more important for your business than 10 a.m. and then I'm sorry, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Okay. And by the way, don't read your emails before you get at it, before you get to work, before you do your dials. It's bad for you. Okay. So just to review, you've gotten to the office at 7:45. You've gotten settled in. Maybe you did a little bit of self-care, whatever. Okay. You do your dials from 8 to 10. Awesome. You're following up with your calls from the night before and any emails and anything that's coming in from your deals, yada, yada, yada. You have a full hour to do that. Even, when you're a high producing broker, you're not going to get 20 calls overnight. It's just not going to happen. You know why? Business people do business during business hours. Okay. It might be 2 or 3 calls, whatever. Okay. And then a handful of emails. Maybe you go through your emails. All right. From 11 to 12 is when you prep for your meetings that you booked that day or that you have booked for that day. Maybe you booked the meeting the day before. My famous line, guys, and it's part of our script. Yeah, so I have 2 o'clock today or 4 o'clock tomorrow. Which is better for you, Alan? Oh, okay, great, cool. Right? So maybe yesterday I booked a meeting for today. Maybe today I booked a meeting for today. So whatever the case may be, you are going to prep for those meetings from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Okay? Gives you a full hour. Now, here's the thing, guys. A lot of people say, what if I have 2 meetings and oh my gosh, if I'm underprepared? It's okay. You know why? You're not supposed to know everything about the building. You're not the owner. You're not supposed to know. If you go in there and you have a good gist of it, you understand a little bit about it. There have been plenty of times, guys, where I went into a meeting and all I had was the county website sheet, a 1-pager. Basically gave me zoning, square footage, when they bought it, how much they bought it for, whatever, right? You don't need a whole lot more than that. You know why? Can anybody tell me why? Because guess what, folks? You wind up asking questions. That's the whole purpose of the presentation. You make statements so that they know that you know what you're talking about. You ask questions to reveal their motivation. And then finally, you bring data so that you can convince them to sell at a price that it's actually going to sell for. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. So that's what I want you guys to understand is you don't need to know everything about a property. You just need to have a good feel for it. Okay. Learn what's going on in the area, learn a little bit about the property, go there because I want you to ask informed questions. And if you already know the answers, one of 2 things is going to happen. Either you're not going to have anything to ask, or you're going to assume that the answers that you have are correct. And then you're going to make judgments based on, oh, shoot, I really forgot, or I thought this was true, but it really isn't. Guys, I put my foot in my mouth based on data that I thought was true before, okay? Follow my lead. Don't do that, all right? Lunch. Guys, get out of the office. You've already been in there for 4 hours and 15 minutes, 12 to 1. Go have lunch. Go take a walk in the sun. Go picnic if it's warm enough, right? I live in the South, so we can pretty much go outside year round. But just get away from your desk, okay? Wherever, even if it's you go to the conference room, the lunch room, whatever, okay? Next up, 1, 2, 3 is your first meeting. Go to your first meeting, right? So our script funnels perfectly into this. My line that I say all the time is, I have 2 o'clock today or 4 o'clock tomorrow, which works better for you, all right? And then, but if I have a 2 o'clock already booked today, I'll say I have 4 o'clock today or 2 o'clock tomorrow, which is working better for you. Chances are one of those is going to be open. The thing I want you to understand though, folks, is when you go to your first meeting, what it allows you to do is having a 2-hour block and booking the meeting at 2. Guess what? You leave your office at 1 o'clock. You can drive as far as an hour to get to that person. And then you have a 30-minute meeting or so. Maybe it's 40 minutes, something like that. And then you have, if you book a 4 o'clock meeting, so now you arrive at 2, you leave at 2:40. That gives you an hour and 20 minutes to get to your next meeting, okay, to engage for 20, 30, 40 minutes. And then you can get back to your office relatively easily by 5:15. Make sense, guys? Okay. So that's why they're in 2-hour blocks. And guys, I promise you, 2 meeting blocks a day. Let's just say on average, there's 20 work days in a month. There's actually 4.25 weeks, but let's just say there's 4 weeks per month. That's 40 meeting blocks per month. That's plenty. Okay, so you're not going to have these full. Guys, there's been times where I took 3 meetings in an afternoon. It's too much. It's just too much. It's too much information. It's too much driving. It's too much rushing around with your head like hair falling out. The point I want to make to you though is having 2. This is the perfect schedule because it gives you just enough time to do everything, okay, and still be home by dinner. right? I don't know how far you guys work, but if you're like Alan, right? Alan works from home, right? So like, how hard can it be? Guys, if you're already home, guys, your work day is done by 5:15, 5:30. And you already made your 50 dials, followed up with everybody, took an hour lunch, prepped for all your meetings, went on 2 meetings, and planned for the next day. Guys, that's the perfect day. If you did that every single day for 365 days, I promise you, you wouldn't recognize your business a year from now. Can I tell you why? How I know that? Because I did that every single day for 800 days in a row. Okay, I had the best streak I ever had in brokerage. I had an 800-day streak, not Saturdays and Sundays, where I never missed a day of prospecting. Did I make 50 dials every single day? No. But I did average 50 dials a day for years, okay? What I want you to understand is, guys, the closer you stick to this, the more you're having your perfect day. Because all you have to, think about it, folks, it's very, very simple. Because the reason why I wanted to talk about this today is because it's the beginning of the year. We're all setting our goals, and everybody wants to start off 2025 on the right foot. The best way to start off on the right foot is to structure yourself on the right foot. To make sure, because a very common complaint that I get from people is they don't know what they should be doing, what the most important activities are each hour of the day. All you have to do is follow this, and that's the whole thing, guys. This tells you what you need to be doing. But in case you want to know, okay, in case you want to have like a guideline in your head, okay, write this down, folks. I'm going to drop some gold on you, okay? PPF. PPF. What that means, guys, is prospecting, presenting, and following up. Okay? Those are the 3 most valuable activities of your day. If you aren't doing PPF, chances are whatever you're doing is you're wasting your time. Okay? Yes, you're going to have to do some research. Yes, you're going to have to do some other stuff. But at a certain point, the people that make the most amount of money in this business are the people that PPF, do those 3 things the most in their day, more than 50% of their day. There's always going to be some stuff. There's going to be travel. There's going to be this. There's going to be some things that only you can do. But if you're prospecting, presenting, and or following up, because following up is just basically reaching back out to people that you either prospected to or presented to. Make sense, guys? Okay? So this is my gift to you for 2025, okay? What I want all of you to grasp, guys, is for you to get going in this year and to get really off on the right foot, you have to start with the right plan. All right, guys? So anything you need, let me know. I look forward to seeing you guys, but do me a favor. Do yourselves a favor, okay? Do something different this year to get a different outcome, okay? What did Einstein say? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, what's that called? It's called insanity. But what happens if you do the same thing over and over again and expect more or less the same result? That's called a system. We have a system that works, okay? So I want you to understand, if you're looking to do something different, you have to have different inputs so you have different outcomes.